Francisco, yo entiendo que tú estabas trabajando cuando pasó el derrumbe.
Sí,
¿Me puedes explicar lo que pasó?
pues estaban los de construcción trabajando en el rufo y pues colapsó el rufo y pues no.
¿Y alguien de adentro se quedó herido?
De los compañeros no, quién sabe de los muchachos de la construcción si algo les pasó a alguien, no, la verdad no.
¿Viste a alguien adentro de la construcción?
No.
Alejandro, I understand that you were inside shopping when this whole thing happened. Can you tell us blow by blow what you saw?
All right, so we're just coming back from a funeral mass of a friend of ours. His dad passed away, so we went to his funeral mass. We're just heading back home, but then I remembered that I had to get some groceries. So we came to the store. We passed right by the spot where the whole roof collapsed. A few seconds later, we just heard a whole boom. We didn't know where it came from. It didn't really make such a loud noise, but we could hear it, of course. The whole thing collapsed. We didn't know again what was going on. We just saw like black water leaking down the walls. It was really bad. I think the earth or something shook. It felt like it was an earthquake. And then we just were trying to get out of the building as quickly as we could, as quickly as we found out that it was an actual emergency. There was this guy in front of us who was blocking the way. He just held on to his shopping cart. He didn't want to get out. So he probably didn't know what was going on at the moment. So we just told him, sir, this is an emergency. We pushed the cart away and then we pushed him out. We pushed him literally outside because he didn't want to get out. And we got out, we called 911. Thankfully, they came amazingly. Like a minute later, there was already team cars outside.
No, did you actually see the lift truck that dropped?
Not at the moment the roof collapsed, but then as we were getting out of the store, we could see it.
Now, what about the people that were driving? Did you see them?
The people
that were driving the lift truck?
No. We didn't see anybody.
Did you see anyone getting hurt? Anyone was
Yeah,
injured?
there was a woman who, I think she broke her hip or something. They took her out, and then they put her in the ambulance, and they took her away.
Were you scared at all?
Of course, yeah.
Why?
Because at that moment you just realize how vulnerable life is. It's amazing how you could lose your life or get injured in a split moment like that.
Just tell him to wait with the other media. We're going to give him a press conference about a half hour.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. My name is Charles Gardner. I'm the police commissioner here in the city of Yonkers. I'm joined by our deputy mayor, Sue Gary, from the police department, Deputy Chief Frank Cariello and Deputy Chief John Muller, our building commissioner, Bill Schneider, from the fire department, Deputy Chief Kevin Ford and Tom Fitzpatrick. And we also have from the National Wholesale Liquidators, Phil DeGorder. Basically at about 11:46 a.m., we responded here on a call of a roof collapse. As you can see the building behind me, there is a parking structure above the building. Apparently there was a type forklift Bobcat type vehicle doing work on the parking structure when about 30 by 40 foot of the structure collapsed through the roof of the store into the store. Emergency responders, as we got here, immediately began to evacuate the building. There were approximately 18 employees and somewhere between 30 and 40 shoppers in the store at the time of the collapse. The building was evacuated. 5 people were injured. There were no life-threatening injuries. They were all transported to local area hospitals. The operator of the Bobcat was one of the 5, and as I said, there were no life-threatening injuries at this point in time. We've conducted a preliminary search and a secondary search of the premises, utilizing thermal imaging, video surveillance, and call-outs. And at this time, we have no reason to believe that there is anyone else in the business at this time, but we cannot be 100% sure until we remove the debris. And at this point, the building is unstable. It's in an unsafe condition, so we cannot get in there to conduct a very thorough search until we can remove the debris. Engineers are en route. They're going to conduct a plan, put together a plan on how we can remove the debris and conduct a more thorough search. At this point, I'll open it up for any questions that you may have.
How long do you think it'll take to get the plan built?
We don't know. The engineers are going to have to formulate a plan, and based on that plan, we'll get a better idea. Bill, I don't know if you want to add to that.
Will it take a day, a couple days?
They're en route here. Once they get here, they'll let us know how
I
long.
would assume it would be a few days.
Right.
One witness described the water, a lot of black water coming down. Is this weather related at all?
We don't know. The parking structure collapsed.
Chief.
Yeah, Chief.
As it came through the roof, the parking structure. Sorry, as it came through the roof into the parking structure collapsed into the building itself. It took out the sprinkler piping, so all the sprinkler pipes were just running water right down onto the collapse scene. That's probably what they saw. We quickly shut that off and shut off gas and electric into the building, so all that stopped right away.
So it was not weather related?
We don't believe it was. No, there was no snow load up there or anything like that.
What type of work were they doing after the
I'm not sure.
Well, the ownership does have a building permit to repair the garage. So presumably, I don't know all the details yet, but this was part of the construction, and the Bobcat was rolling out onto this area that they were repairing. And it was an accident. We don't know all the details yet about how and why it happened. That's part of the engineering evaluation, which will occur from the owner's engineer. They'll put together a report on what they feel was the cause of the collapse.
But was it maintenance that they were doing?
They were going to. The building permit was to repair the garage. The plans, which are on file, have all of the details of what they were actually going to do.
The most serious injury was a leg injury. The other 4 were non-life-threatening minor injuries.
What kind of?
We had 2 people that had panic attacks and then some other minor injuries.
I was told the ball is closed right now. Is that true?
Well, this building right now is unsafe. It's closed, so you want.
What happened was we had to cut power and gas to this building, and it's easier at that time to just take everything out for the whole facility. Now we're selectively turning things back on that will allow the mall behind it to open up so they can operate.
Okay, so we'll be open.
It will, yes, but this building will not be opening anytime soon.
So
Yeah,
that was a
but they're
parking
still saying.
lot up there, right?
Yes, but it was not open.
It's not open.
No.
When was the last time that it was used as a parking lot? Do we know?
Several years, I believe. Several years.
For quite some time.
Are there any concerns about the structural integrity of other lots or nearby buildings in this mall complex?
Are we doing an assessment of that?
I'm sure the commission.
Well, at this point, we have no reason to believe that any of the other lots are affected, since this was structurally independent of those. Right? No reason to believe that there's any problem with that at this time.
What's the square footage of the store?
Not sure.
No?
The square footage of the store? You know the square footage of the store? Approximately 40,000 square feet.
Was there any specific reason why that lot was closed for years?
Right now, we'd have to go back and look at the file, but it's closed because they were doing the repair.
Not for years.
For years, yeah, we'd have to go back and see when it was last used. I don't have that information at this time. The machine actually
Right.
went through the roof.
Right.
So it went from the garage into the building into the store.
Yes, what you have is a slab on top of a metal deck, bar joists which support that, and then the tenancy underneath, and it collapsed through it.
And the driver was on it.
Yes.
How far of a drop by the fall?
About 30 feet.
Right. And he walked out. The driver walked out of the premises.
Any issues with the roof floor or the structure floor?
Well, there were some issues because the building management had to repair it. The extent of what it was, we're not sure.
Is there any reason to believe there's anybody inside under the debris?
As I said, we've conducted preliminary and secondary search, and at this point we have no reason to believe, but we cannot be 100% sure until we remove all the debris. It's unstable, it's unsafe for us to get in there right now. There's pieces that are hanging. When the engineers formulate a plan, they'll start to remove it, then we can do a better search.
Are there any other buildings at risk, any other structures at risk structurally next to this?
No.
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 This is the only building affected.
And road closures, what's going to be impacted?
The Central Avenue, one lane is closed, but we don't anticipate any further closures at this time.
Any other questions?
What happens to your employees, sir? Are they be reassigned? Are they out of luck? What happens?
We have a grand opening. We do have a grand opening coming up in
Over here, sir.
Whosale and Woodmere tomorrow. So we are going to reassign these employees so they're at least working.
And one last thing, if anyone is looking for information regarding the incident, you can contact our communication center at 914-377-7900.
How many employees do you have, sir?
In this store, total, we probably have about 40 associates here.
There were 18 working,
There were 18 working
at the time.
right. And we will reassign them, especially to the grand opening, which we're looking forward to tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, sir. Can you tell us about what happened here today? We know about the incident, but some of your employees who we spoke with are afraid of losing their jobs. What do you have to say about that?
Let me tell you something. First of all, we're a family company, and we have a grand opening coming up tomorrow over in Rosedale in the Woodmere area. And we're going to be reassigning these employees to the grand opening. Believe me, we don't want to see anybody out of a job. All right, so we will reassign the people. All right, they don't have to worry about their jobs.